So today we will talk about the other two approaches for Singleton pattern. These are enum and static nested class. Let's take a look. So for enum, this is by far the most simplest implementation of Singleton. So what we have to do here is we will declare an enum and we will declare the instance. So whatever object we want, we'll declare. So what will happen is the JVM is going to make an object of this enum. So that means enum initialization will be the type as opposed to the class. Instance will be the variable. So here we are creating a new object. So this creation is handled by JVM. So now at the time of the class load, the JVM is going to initialize this object, which is here as instance. And in this approach, we do not have an option to allow lazy initialization. That means in other approaches, we were having a method, let's say get instance, and in other classes inside get instance, we were creating a new object. But here the JVM is going to create the new object at the time of class load. So we cannot really control the object creation because it is driven by the JVM. And since it is driven by the JVM, so we can be sure that it is thread safe. So this is one type of implementation. The other type we have is using the inner static classes. So this approach is also very elegant. So what we are doing in this case, we are creating a static inner class which is going to instantiate the object. So inside the get instance method, we will do a class dot the object. So what are the pros for this approach? So the inner class by default is not loaded in the memory until and unless get instance is called. Okay, so when this main class is loaded in a static initialization, that does not mean that the helper class and instances will also be created. Only when we are calling the get instance that will take place. And this approach is also thread safe because the inner class memory loading is also handled by JVM. So both approaches, enum and static inner classes, they are thread safe.